everyone. Welcome to Sound Test. And this is a new series that we're doing called Music Club. And this is basically just where we kind of get together, talk about music that we've listened to recently. Doesn't have to necessarily be stuff that's like super new and relevant, but it's just things that, we've heard recently when we just wanted to talk about and just kind of give our perspectives on. So this is your host, Bryan here. I'm joined by Clayton.
I'm made of sugar spice, kanekalon, and cinnamon.
I have no idea what that second word is
I
that
don't
you
even
just
know what
said.
any of that is.
Oh my! You guys haven't heard that song? Oh wow! Maybe I should talk about it briefly.
Maybe not.
it's
Maybe not.
it's the
Um,
new here.
and I'm joined by DeYante.
Okay.
What is that giant? What is
This
that?
is opening oatmeal.
What?
Is that a giant can of oatmeal?
No.
What is
It
that?
look nuts. Mixed nuts.
Oh, okay. It
Okay, lightly salted mixed nuts.
no, but it did look like the Quaker like
It
canister that
does.
you was opening,
That's fair. I don't want to get sued either.
and he
So
just casually just
This is the
I
generic
will say that
brand.
these are delicious.
and you missed. You threw it and you missed.
You know what? I was gonna give you points if you caught it, but
So yeah, um, much more casual, just kind of conversation, just on some musical things that we've been listening to, and we just want to share with you all. So, so first off is actually going to be DeYante. So, what is your music selection that you want to talk about?
All right. So, disclaimer for any of the listeners or viewers: I probably have the most unique soundscape out of the our friend group. I would say I'm a very versatile listener. I'll listen to anything. But my main jams is jazz, classical, very heavily classically involved, and wind band music, and everything else is just kind of like, okay, if I hear it, I hear it. And so in my realm, and especially since it's getting closer and closer to February for Black History Month, um, I've been kind of on a kick for African American composers, and no less living African American composers. And we kind of kicked it off as went to my local symphony concert. There was a concert that had premiered to African American composers. And I was like, I want to hear more stuff. Listen to stuff by one of the people that I listened to. His name is Dawson. I forget his last name. I forget his first name, but Dawson's Negro Folk Symphony. And then I got on a kick with like Duke Ellington and some of his stuff. And it led me to this wind band piece by a current living composer named Kevin Day. And he has a concerto for wind ensemble. So all of that stuff for wind ensemble is usually in a concert band setting. You would have multiple players playing first, second, or third parts, but in this case, all are one on a part, which means there's only one first, one second, one third for whatever parts that are playing on whatever instruments. This music is amazing. It is the sound of our age groups, our generations of music with our backgrounds of hip hop, R&B, and jazz, like stuff that sounds like Motown is in here, stuff that sounds like Erica Badu is in here, and Lauryn Hill, stuff in here that sounds like Lupin the Third, and like very fast jazz bebop is in here. It's like there's even a section called Soul where you could just picture this velvety texture of like disco, and people that have like blazers with the taco meat showing and the medallion, and they silky smooth and stuff and just bubble it, kind of like an episode of like Soul Train or something, but a little bit more chill. And it's based on 5 movements. The 5 movements are called flow. Let me not be wrong here. Yeah, flow, rift, vibe, soul, and jam. Flow is more so the experimental portion because it fluctuates between different time signatures and different counts. But it has a very heavy, I'd say, Sesame Street or kind of Chick Corea vibe with the rhythms and the drive that it has. It's a really fresh sounding, like as a whole, a fresh sounding piece of music. Rift is a very just ticking time bomb of just fast jazz inflections, killer like clarinet solo in the middle, killer Barry sax solo right after it in the middle, and it picks right up and with this like banger ending that sounds like the ending of Tank from Cowboy Bebop. Like it is insane. It is great. It's like one of the best 3.5 minutes that I've heard all year of something. Like it is sick. I love it. Love it to death. The third movement is called Vibe, and that is where you're like your 90s R&B, like you're real cool, like ding ding dum ding dum 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 ding ding dum ding dum dum ding, and it's got a little bit of a groove to it. But cool thing is, in the middle of it, he literally takes a whole little motive from the Rite of Spring, of all things, and changes the meter a little bit, but it fits in with the groove so well that it doesn't even like really matter. And it kind of just does its thing. It's real cool, very virtuosic sounding, and towards the end clips off and quiet. Soul is your like inverse Soul Train kind of deal. Sounds like a very chill, velvety, bubbly sound to it. And Jam is literally modern day age hip hop R&B in a wind band setting, and like it's got a drive to it. You know that very like I know we joke about it a lot, but it's actually significant now. That bassoon solo in Oz or
The
Wiz,
Wiz, yeah.
yeah, in the Wiz. There's a mean bassoon solo in this too, like, and it's just like grooves in this like 7/4, and some of the motives from the first movement and the second movement, the flow and the riff movement, they come back, and you can hear how that kind of wraps up and stuff, and ends with this like really cool like jazz like drum solo thing where it's like and it's killer piece of writing. And I've already like sent you like the euphonium concerto by the same composer, and that's pretty much his style. Like very expressive sounding music from the ears of somebody that's grown up in this current generation. And there's a lot of other black composers that are kind of doing that too. He's not the only one.
Yeah, I was about to speak on it because I have like a short list of some modern black composers. I think a lot, all of us at least collectively right here knows Omar Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Um, Fantastic work. Come Sunday is still just a piece where like, I mean, a lot of people knew about Omar Thomas before Come Sunday, but that was a piece where it was like everybody kind of put on blast of like his unique style and just like that integration of soulful black church gospel music mixed with this contraband timbre.
I personal speaking from that. When my dad he came over here just to chill, whatever. He's just playing video games, listening to music, watch anime, stuff like that. And since he's being subject to listening to what I want to listen to. I was like, this is one piece of that. Like, I put on Come Sunday, the Princess on Marine Band playing, and fantastic like recording, like transparency top to bottom. You hear every note, like unreal playing. But out of everything that I've played for him, other than when he came over to see the DCI competition, like semifinal stuff, that just like in his face, he was like, "This is totally different from what you showed me like a couple of months ago, but this is one of the best sounding shits that I've ever heard in my life, boy." He really liked Come Sunday. He was like, it almost made me cry, like that like the first like the testimony movement.
Mm-hmm.
That first movement where it is just literally just a Hammond organ solo testimony while it's just going through, and he was just shaking his head the whole time. He's like, "Damn, this shit sounds great." And then he got to like the shout movement. He was like, because it's just right, it's just very authentic, and he was like, "That was phenomenal." I was like, "See, told you." We getting some recognition in the world. So I wanted to speak on Omar Thomas's, you know, a powerful piece of music. And that's not the only one.
Yeah, a few others. Just quick hits. Chandler Wilson, Marie Douglas, J. Rod Hall, and William Owens. And a lot of these are the cool thing. They're doing it for the concert band setting, which you don't really get to see a lot. It's great to hopefully will there's been obviously some black composers that's composed for full orchestras. I think obviously
Valerie Coleman.
Valerie Coleman, my girl.
The other one, obviously, Duke Ellison's actually done some full string orchestrations as too, and they're fantastic.
Woo! Harlem, a tone parallel of Harlem. Woo! Woo! Woo!
So
Man.
it's exciting to see people of color doing things in a classical sense and infusing our own culture into it, and how we can make it authentic to ourselves while still using the norms of the classical timbre space.
Mm-hmm. And it's kind of cool because it's still like, I feel like that's very good inspiration for younger composers that are in college or in high school, and they're arranging stuff for like their concert band and stuff. So like really listen to some of these modern composers that are still living, and even listen to some of the composers that have left us, and get influences of our styles that we have written and have cemented as, this is what Dawson sounds like, this is what Hellstork sounds like, this is what Ellington sounds like, and those signature sounds incorporating and making these new sounds, these new textures, these new feelings, these new rhythms, and just learning from it, just like everybody else does everywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So I think it's really good that we do have a very strong presence now as living composers. It's not just, it's just black people that's writing music. No, these are legitimately good pieces of music literature for concert band or orchestra, any ensemble, really. They're very legitimate composers. Good music is good music.
I can dig it. I love it, especially with Valerie Coleman. Whoo, Imani wins. Have taken my heart.
Heck, we could just do a whole podcast just on
yeah.
black composers.
I'm about to say, I forgot Wynton Marsalis, and I'm literally sitting right here listening to his symphonies. And yes, Wynton Marsalis is very important too.
So Clayton, what was your musical choice for this episode, or choices?
Okay. So I have an album and I have an EP. So the first, I'll talk about the EP because obviously it's shorter. So the EP, it came out in 2001, and it's changing up the vibe a little bit, but it's called Conversations with the Moon by grentperez. Man, if you want a chill album where it's just full of love and sultry like vibes, this is the album for you. So there are only 6 tracks. Cherry Wine, Conversations with the Moon, My Heart It Beats for You, Absence of You, Clementine, and Why I Love You. So revolving around the theme of having conversations with somebody that you could possibly never have a conversation with. That's what this album is based around. My standout track would be Cherry Wine, because it's just reminiscent of the time, at least for me, of a time where I was like in the dating scene and stuff like that, and I was afraid like, maybe I won't find that person, but then the right person actually came along. So this album means a little bit more to me on a personal note now that I've experienced love and loss and time again, and now that I'm in a place where I'm happy, I can actually listen about love without coming from a negative perspective of it. So definitely recommend this EP. Cherry Wine, if you look on my phone right now, I've played it probably around like 50 times, and I just downloaded it like a couple weeks ago. But I
Sound like
wanted
me.
to, yeah. But the album I really wanted to talk about, and the artist is controversial, but the album is very solid, and it's Doja Cat's Scarlet. So I'm not gonna get all.
Yeah, here
I'm
he
not. Gonna,
goes.
I'm not gonna talk about everything that Doja Cat has done this year because, baby, I don't know what
Whew.
you've been going through, but you need, um, you need help. But
And just a pause right quick. I hate how catchy "Paint the Town Red" is.
listen,
I hate the
boy,
video, but God, the song is so catchy.
because she's like,
God.
bitch, I said, like that's the thing about Doja Cat. What? Because I first started becoming a fan of her after her album Pink came out, or Hot Pink. Yeah, that's what it was. Hot Pink came out. I was like, okay, she has a good flow. She has like early inspiration from like the late 2000s, early 2010s like kind of vibe. I was like, okay, cool, I love that. And then she got into all that controversy, and when one of the main statements that she said like before this album even released was, I don't need features, I don't need anybody, I'm just trying to live my life. Now that is one sentiment I do agree with, though there are a myriad of other reasons why people will not like Doja Cat. But um with all the tracks, with 17 tracks, with Paint the Town Red, Demons, Wet Vagina, Fuck the Girls, Ouchies, 97, Gun, Go Off, Agora Hills, Can't Wait, Often, Love Life, Skull and Bones, Attention, and Balut. My favorite tracks, one, Paint the Town Red. That's the starter to the album. Demons, love that too. But I think the theme for this album really shines throughout the entirety of it. And she's basically saying, um, I'm going to do whatever the hell I want. I'm going to spend my time with whoever the hell I want. This is my year of not people pleasing. I am tired of people pleasing. I,
Pandering.
yeah, like I've because like even the order of the album, it makes 100% coherent sense to me. With Paint the Town Red, obviously that's like a phrase often used. It's like, you know what, I don't care, I'm going to have fun whether you like it or not. Obviously you're painting the town red. And Demons is another track where she's just like hard hitting with like a heavy bass and like consistent rhythm, and she contrasts that with like light playful verses and how she speaks with her flow. If you listen to the track, like just to give you a little, I'm not Doja Cat, so please don't come for my flow, but she's like, I am on the bigger things, I just bought a limousine. So she contrasts that aggressive beat with just playful little quips, something that a child would say, like in my opinion. But then she she just goes off.
So
She
it's
really
just like
goes.
the inflection of her voice, kind of like how a voice actor has to emote
Yeah.
in order to
So
convey something.
yeah. So and like that's also the revealing of another persona that I believe that was said by her, of which is Scarlet. So you have Doja Cat and you have her alter ego persona Scarlet, and then, and out of all the tracks, that is the most surprising to me. It's not the heavy hitters; it's like the soft ones. Because if I'm painting the town red, I want everybody to know. And then we have tracks like Agora Hills, which is like very indicative of how calmly she is, well, the calm side of her in this publicity and all this other stuff that's going on with her life. So my standout tracks are gonna have to be, in no particular order, Paint the Town Red, Demons, Fuck the Girls, Agora Hills, and Attention. Like those are the must listen to tracks. If you don't listen to any other tracks on this album, you gotta listen to them because her flow is actually insane. Like, is she the best with flow in terms of the new generation of rappers? No, but I think she's up there. She's getting up there. Now she just needs to work on talking to the public because she's wilding on Twitter
And Instagram.
and Instagram.
But
I don't
fun
know
fact,
because Instagram.
I don't know what the hell going on with her.
Listen, I don't know what's going on either.
Good. Just stay out of it.
I'm in my own little world.
Yeah, cause
Y'all know
like
I don't. And if I don't
yeah,
have that problem.
yeah, because like I've checked, and I don't really use Instagram a whole lot, but man, the amount of times I've seen like darn near all of her areolas, like every time I log onto Instagram, wild, oh wild.
All right.
D looks like maybe I should go to Instagram. Go to those.
All right. Well, I'll round things off. Um, so, um, first of all, I didn't know that this was an album before. But I'm going to talk about T-Pain on top of the covers. And so first of all, the album came out this year, and it was like 30 or so minutes. Had no idea that existed. I just had no idea it existed.
Literally like minutes before this recording.
Yeah, like literally a few minutes before this, that's when I actually learned that there was a studio album that exists. But the way I found out about this album, about this project from T-Pain, somebody in our group chat posted the Tennessee Whiskey clip. Who was that?
I think it was Zay because we were talking about it in our party, and then Zay was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna share it," and I'm like, "Good man."
Okay,
That live recording.
I'm so glad he did, because he did Tennessee Whiskey, and I was like, oh, so it's okay. So first of all, there's always this notion that T-Pain can't really sing and that he needed the auto tune. No, the auto tune was a artistic choice. He can sing, and
Mm-hmm.
if you ever still have that notion that T-Pain cannot sing, listen to this album. Like, the range this man has in terms of style is kind of ridiculous.
Yep.
So the version I specifically listened to is the live version, live from the Sun Rolls. And that's the version I suggest you to listen to first and foremost, because he's not only is he's a great singer, he's just a great performer, and there's his like actual band there. They're really fantastic, and it starts with "Summertime," the George Gershwin classic, and "Summertime" is just one of my favorite pieces, and it's really authentic. He sings it more in a modern jazz style, but it's very authentic to the original interpretation of it. Then he goes into "That's Life," which is kind of like the 50s and 60s type of R&B style song, and then he throws in just weird things in there like "Don't Stop Believing,"
Yeah.
and it's fire. Like, it's so good, and it's like, it shouldn't sound good, but it's so good.
Yeah.
He goes to that into "Shout." He does like kind of like a shout chorus, like as if you're in a black gospel field, and then that goes into "Shout" by the Ozzy Brothers, and it's so like geniusly like weaved together, because during the shout section, the shout track or area, you hear the band doing D D D D D D, like they're doing the little motif from Luther Vandross's "Never Too Much," and they do that several times. Then it finally transitions into "Never Too Much," and it just like it flows so perfectly. And then he has this whole rock section. And he does "American Woman" and "I Don't Want to Be." Then that goes
Listen.
into "This Is How We Do It."
Genius.
A very diverse
Set list.
concert.
Yeah,
He's covering all the bases
he really
for the
is.
year.
There's this like little interlude thing called Scrains, so that's strings with a K, Scrains, and K major sus. And it's just like his keyboard player just kind of just doing some improv and just doing some things on there. He tells stories in here too, and it's great because he's T-Pain is hilarious. Like the man is funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like legit funny, and like he's telling stories about, you know, how he became an artist, you know, why he started doing certain things in his career. He does great with interacting with the crowd. It's a great performance. One of the standout parts of it, Change Gonna Come is really good as well. He did that song a lot of justice. But one of the standout is War Pigs. Never ever thought I was going to hear T-Pain tackle War Pigs, and it's so good. It is long. It's almost 8 minutes long because like there's guitar solos in there and all this stuff in there. But that's fantastic. He does a great cover of Crazy by Gnarls Barkley. And what's also cool about that is Crazy by Gnarls Barkley, and that goes into Black Ice. And Gnarls Barkley, the main singer of that is CeeLo Green, and Black Ice is from Goody Mob, is an old Goody Mob track, which is CeeLo's part of Goody Mob. So the way he kind of integrated both elements of CeeLo's career into that one song was really cool. And it starts off with like a really slow rendition of Crazy. He has background singers in there as well. And then he finishes the album off with Buy You a Drink, one of his classic tunes. But yeah, it's one of those albums you hit start and you just listen through the whole way through. Don't do any cuts, don't skip anything. And he just tells a story just through his interactions with the crowd, him talking, how each song flows together. Excuse me, really great performance. And you can catch the whole like video performance on YouTube on his official channel. And matter of fact, what we're going to do, we'll post all of our recommendations in the description. So you all can, obviously listen to the stuff that we're listening to. So, the recordings that we listen to specifically, or the things that influence us to talk about these things, we'll put that in there so you all can listen to it too, and get your own opinions on what we listen to.
Yeah, I already queued up the T-Pain live performance so how Bryan found out that this album released back in March was I listened to that version. I didn't know about the live album until like minutes before this recording, and I was like, so many tracks. So as soon as we are done wrapped up here and we do what we need to do, I'm listening. I'm going to YouTube. I already have it pulled up on my phone.
It must be something that I both need to spend an hour and hold up. The video's an hour, and the album's 38 minutes. Okay, so all right.
But that's the thing is the video version, that's a separate album in itself.
Yeah.
That's how I listened to it was because while I was in Chicago, I was listening to it. I listened to it on Spotify. So on top of the covers, Live from the Sun Rose is an actual album on Spotify that you can listen to it. And then that video that's on YouTube, that's the exact same performance. It's just, the video version of that performance.
Yeah. Like I've been waiting for T-Pain to drop another banger album because when he dropped One Up in 2019, I was like, ooh, I need more T-Pain.
T-Pain.
Listen, Get Your Roll On from that album. What? That shit slaps. Oh yeah.
Anything else we want to wrap up with?
Go listen to music.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure this is our last podcast of 2023.
Well,
so
it's going to come out. It's going to come out in 2024. But yeah,
you know what?
It's our last New Year.
Happy New Year! But it's our last recording of 2023. So to our future selves, listen to more music. I mean, explore. There are literally millions of tracks out there, and there are millions of stories that can be told. Whether you have lyrics, whether you don't have lyrics, whether you have an orchestra, or you even have a singular instrument. There are different stories that can be told, and I encourage you to explore and open your mind. That's one of my goals for the new year, is to open my mind up to the possibilities of stories, even stories that I feel are not relevant to me, but it gives me some introspective on how others compose music and interpret their emotions and whatever they're going through with song, because like music's been around for so long and there's so many stories, and though not everybody's able to tell their story through music, the ones that do, they deserve to be listened to.
Fitting end. Thank you, Clayton.
But you never really listen to a story until you've actually listened to 4 minutes and 33 seconds.
And on that
I mean,
note,
truly, everybody who's listening or look for John Cage's 4 minutes and 33 seconds, and you will see exactly what I'm talking about. Listen to all 4 minutes and 33 seconds, and then leave a comment in the description. So that way, I want you to tell me if you really think that that is a story worth listening to.
So thank you for this first episode of Music Club.
you
This has been a Sound Test crew. We'll catch y'all on the next one.
doses.
Peace.